Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. As we've been talking about throughout the morning, soon-to-be former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is stepping down. He'll do so in 13 days after the New York Attorney General found that he sexually harassed nearly a dozen women. That number continues to grow. So Andrew Cuomo will not be a candidate for governor in New York in 2022, we think. But it does change the dynamics of the race overnight, and it pushes open the door for any Republican candidate out there. Joining us now for reaction is Republican candidate for governor in New York and former special assistant to President Trump, Andrew Giuliani, joining me on the White Couch. Andrew, great to have you back in studio. Former Newsmax contributor, so great to have you back in the building as well.
Rob, I'm loving the couch over here.
Yeah, you haven't been here since we got this. Do you like it?
Very, very nice.
I sleep on this every night. It's very comfortable, breaking it in. But seriously, what'd you make of that announcement yesterday? Did it surprise you?
It actually did surprise me, especially if you would have asked me a week ago. Looking at what his lawyers basically put up on Friday, a little bit of victim shaming, it almost seemed like.
Right.
I thought he was going to be fighting this tooth and nail till the end. I think he might have made a political calculation. Remember, if he gets impeached and convicted, he can never run for statewide office again.
Right.
He now can run for statewide office.
Technically, he could still be impeached, though, right?
He technically still be impeached,
Yeah.
but I think it also is a lot harder for the Assembly and the State Senate to basically do this. Remember, it's going to take a full month to go to the State Senate and all that stuff. At that point, you lose a little bit of the political will if he's not the sitting governor anymore. So I think he made the political calculation that he may end up, he wants to keep his hope alive in the future running for
Yeah, 63 years old. We'll see if he runs for, I don't think he'd be elected.
I don't think he's going to run this term.
He could run for dog catcher, I think, and maybe get elected. But seriously, I mean, this is, 15,000 are dead that probably didn't have to die. We had the comfort ship in the Javits Center in Lower Manhattan. The nursing home situation is a big one. The 13 women that have come forward, the $5 million book deal,
using state resources.
Yep, the preferential testing for his brother Chris, who, that's an ethical disaster if you ask me, over at CNN. How does this change the dynamics? Because I know we've talked about this. I thought that Giuliani and Cuomo in this race was two titans, two New York heavyweights. This changes the dynamics tremendously.
Well, look, we don't even know who we're going to run against at this point, right? And so we still have 15 months or so until our race, a little less than 15 months. So for us, I think the most important thing is we want to continue to show the solutions that ultimately have plagued New York over the last 16 years. Remember, we were talking about this in the break. The last 3 governors, all Democrats of New York, either resigned or had to commit to not running again between Spitzer, Patterson, and now Cuomo.
All Democrats.
All Democrats. This is a culture issue, not to even mention Schneiderman, who ended up going through his major issues as well.
Right.
But this is a culture issue. There's a reason why jobs are leaving New York. There's a reason why crime has spiraled out of control. We want to present the solutions to that. We want to stop the war on cops. We want to deregulate. We want to cut taxes and make New York business friendly again. That's the focus of our campaign. We want to focus on solutions. Whoever we end up running against, I assume their ideas are not going to be as good as our ideas. We need to make sure we let the ideas win the day.
As of Friday, 900 people moved to Florida a day. Many of those from the Northeast are from New York. That's something that your campaign wants to change. So Kathy Hochul will take over 13 days from now. I think if you showed a picture of Lady Gaga and Kathy Hochul to New Yorkers on the street, I don't know if they could identify her. They don't run together. I know that Cuomo, she's not like part of the administration. Is she somebody that is going to be, she's known for cutting ribbons. Okay, is she somebody that we expect to be the candidate in 2022? Because, I mean, Democrats have to rally around her now, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the field is going to look like. I've heard rumors, obviously as the first female governor, she could end up running. I don't know if she's prepared or even started a campaign yet.
Right.
So I don't know what it's going to look like. I know there are some state senators that are thinking of getting in the mix. There's a Biaggi. There's DiNapoli's thinking about getting there. Obviously, will Letitia James end up running?
Is a possibility.
I mean, that would be the dream, to run against Bill de Blasio. But, I mean, look, he has illusions of grandeur, right? He did run for president, and there were probably about 400 people that supported his campaign for president. So, maybe they all existed in New York. That's the one thing about de Blasio. I've met people that will admit voting for Biden, met people admit voting for Cuomo, met people that admit voting for Clinton. I have yet to meet one person that will admit voting for de Blasio.
Let me play you a soundbite from Andrew Cuomo yesterday. This was sort of bizarre to me. I expected him to announce that he was running in 2022 during the same speech. He went the other way and said that he was going to step down for the taxpayers and people of New York, but he still denied any of the accusations that Letitia James, the Attorney General's report, came up with. Take a listen.
I truly believe it is politically motivated. I believe it is unfair and it is untruthful.
All right, and the person that's going to take over, Kathy Hochul, is going to speak at 2 p.m. today. Could you believe that he said that He resigned, but at the same time didn't take ownership for the reason why he was resigning.
Yeah, well, I think that's got to be his lawyers whispering in his ear. I think that's probably what that is.
Right.
So can I believe it? Yeah, knowing him and having obviously kind of prepared our campaign around potentially running against him, I can believe it. Like I said, I think there were political motives in the back of his mind in terms of why he did this and why he did this now. But I always like to mention, right, this is not just the AG's report that came out. As you said before, $5.1 million book deal. It's the USS Comfort not using that as the president, President Trump, brought it up the Eastern Seaboard for him to use it. You're talking about preferential COVID treatment. I mean, all of these issues that Andrew Cuomo ended up bringing to our state unnecessarily, all because of his ego, and he wanted to hold on to power.
Quick question, final question. It seems like the race has shifted now. You and Lee Zeldin, Congressman, it seems like you are the front runners on the Republican side. As you woke up this morning, you're no longer facing the big bad wolf in Andrew Cuomo, the three-term governor. His dad was governor for 3 terms as well. Now it seems like it's a 2-horse race between you and the congressman. What would you say to voters of New York or people in New York who might not be familiar with you as a candidate?
Well, what I would say is we basically believe that New York can ultimately, that our greatest days are ahead of it, right? When we end up looking at truly the draw that New York has, if government really gets out of the way, then people will flock back to New York. Businesses will flock back to New York. Unfortunately, people have done the value assessment and have realized their quality of life is nowhere near as good in New York as it used to be. Or, as you mentioned, in Florida, in Texas, in Tennessee. I want to make sure that New York is the economic center of the world again. I want to make sure that New York is a safe place to raise your family. And I also want to make sure that you have educational options, not just if your family has the means to send you there, but I want more charter schools for all New Yorkers. So for us, we want to make sure that we serve all of the 19.5 million New Yorkers the best way that we can, and not
biggest state in the country. Andrew Giuliani, good luck to you, my friend. Good seeing you again. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. Good luck in the rest of your campaign.
You're not too bad for a Red Sox fan.
I know. Don't tell people.
Not too bad.
They're terrible right now, the Red Sox, by the way. All right, Andrew, good to see you. Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.